I took this one's for you, Tendalia. I took the shell off my racing snail thinking it would make him run faster. If anything, it made him look a lot more sluggish.
No.
Where'd Sally go during the bombing? Everywhere.
No.
Oh, poor I feel really bad for the homeless guy, but I feel really bad for the homeless guy's dog because he must be sitting there thinking, man, this is the longest walk ever. My friend gave me his EpiPen as he was dying. It was really traumatic. It seemed really important to him that I have it, though.
Oh, gosh.
What did Kermit the Frog say at Jim Henson's funeral? Nothing.
Nothing.
You remember before the internet when it was thought that collective stupidity was due to a lack of information? No, it wasn't that.
Prove that.
What did our parents do to kill boredom before the internet? I asked my 10 brothers and sisters, but none of them knew either. Why was the internet slow at the Chinese marijuana farm? Because it was run with a high ping.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
This guy walks into Costco. An employee with a clipboard approaches him. The employee says, "Sir, would you be interested in participating in a quick survey about your internet?" And the man goes, "Sure." "So, sir, are you currently satisfied with your internet?" I guess so." He says, "Could you please tell us how much you pay for your internet every month?" The man says, "Well, absolutely nothing." The employee says, "Well, and I might ask, who is your provider?" The guy says, "My neighbor." And now I have stable Wi-Fi too. Yeah. I told a friend of mine, people on Reddit were stupid. They spend hours of their precious lives arguing with people that they will never meet, getting all emotional about stuff that can't be fixed on the internet, and changes absolutely nothing. And he said, "And you know this how?"
He's been in Second Life, of course.
Yeah, right. Yeah, why don't lepers use the internet?
Don't know.
They're digitally challenged. Unfortunately, guys are kind of like internet domain names. The ones I like are already taken. You know how we know Al Gore invented the internet? Everything runs via the algorithm. Well, you know, before the internet, things still went viral. For example, the Beatles, among others, spread all over the world. I guess you could say there were a few bugs going around. I'm positively delighted by funny internet memes. I love those. So much so, I frequently can't even make it to the punchline without becoming giddy with laughter. I suffer from premature e-joke elation.
No.
Oh my.
I never use Internet Explorer, but when I do, I download Google Chrome. I can tell you that.
It's the only thing I ever used IE for.
So true.
Mocking the anti-vacciners, or vaxxers as we call them on the internet these days, is like unvaccinated children. It never gets old. Oh, those kids are dead.
No.
This is from BBC News. Russia's to unplug from the internet. In other news, 75% of the world's online porn has disappeared, boys and girls. Internet humor is so selfish. It's all about the meme. This is how the internet started according to the Bible. In ancient Israel, it came to pass that a trader by the name of Abraham did take unto himself a healthy young wife by the name of Dorothy. And .com was a really comely woman, Large of breast, broad of shoulder, long of leg. Indeed, she was often called Amazon.com. She was big. As she says unto Abraham, her husband, "Why dost thou travel so far from town to town with thy goods when thou canst trade with ever leaving the tent?" Abraham did look as though she were several saddlebags short of a camel load. But he simply said, "How, dear?" And Dot replied, "I will place drums in all the towns and drums. And delivery will be made by Uriah's pony stable." Yes, that is. Abraham thought really long and decided he'd let Dot have her way with the drums. And then the drums rang out and were immediately a success. Abraham sold all the goods he had at the top price without ever having to move from his tent. To prevent neighboring countries from overhearing what the drums were saying, Dot devised a system only she and the drummers knew, known as Must Send Drum Over Sound, MSDOS. And she also developed a language to transmit ideas and pictures, Hebrew to the people, HTTP. And young men did take to .coms trading as does the greedy horsefly take to the camel dung, yeah. They were called nomadic, ecclesiastical, rich Dominican cyberites, or nerds. And lo, the land was so feverish with joy at the new riches and the deafening sound of drums that no one noticed the real riches were going to that enterprising drum dealer, Brother William of Gates, who bought off every drum maker in the land. Indeed, he did insist on drums to be made that would work with only Brother Gates, drum heads, and drumsticks. And Dot did say, "Oh, Abraham, what have we started? It's being taken over by others." And Abraham looked out over the Bay of Ezekiel, or eBay as it came to be known.
Oh.
And he said, "We need a name that reflects what we are." And so Dot said, "Young, ambitious Hebrew owner-operators, Yahoo." And because that was Dot's idea, they named it Yahoo.com. Now, Abraham's cousin Joshua, being the young, gregarious, energetic, educated kid, geek, that is, he soon started using Dot's drums to locate things around the countryside. It soon became known as God's own official guide to locating everything, Google. That is how it all began. That's the truth. And you can't make this stuff up. I think Bing could have totally crushed Google if they'd called it Bang. I mean, think about it. I banged Emma Watson last night. That sounds good. Hey, the internet. That's where men are women, women are men, and children are the FBI. Justin Bieber got 100,000 retweets for tweeting "Live Life Full." That's just 3 random words, so I'm going to try it right now. Let's see. Jockstrap, squirrel, potatoes. That good? This man walks at a sperm bank. He approaches the man, says, "So then, do you come here often?" And the man says, "Only when the internet's off." And he
Okay,
Here's the difference between Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Facebook, my kids are perfect. Instagram, my kids are beautiful. Twitter, my kids are why I drink. I asked my husband, "Why do you keep going back to that fishing website?" And he said, "I can't help it. I'm hooked."
You're fucked.
And last but not least, a professor at the end of his last class to a group of postgraduates told the students he wants to have one last group activity with them before he leaves the college. He asked the men to go to one side of the class, the women to move to the other, and then he wrote this following question on the board and asked both groups to kind of brainstorm and think about their answer and have justifications for him. And the question was, is the computer a male or female? Well, the men's response came back as, "The computer is female because no one but their creator understands their internal logic. When computers communicate with each other, they communicate in code language only they can understand. Every mistake we make is stored in their hard drive, which can be retrieved later. As soon as you commit to one, you find yourself spending half your paycheck accessorizing it. But the women came back with, the computer's a male. Because to get their attention, you got to turn them on. They got a lot of data, but they still can't think by themselves. They're supposed to solve our problem, but half the time they are the problem. As soon as you commit to one, you realize if you waited a little longer, you could have gotten a better model. And the girls won in the end. And that's time for the night.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, thank you.